There is no minimum amount to open a self-managed super fund. Like there's no rule. Sometimes there's guidelines out there for certain circumstances, but I have opened a self-managed super fund up for a client with as little as $0 before, right? Often cited, and I'll get into that in a moment, I'll tell you why, but there's the often cited guidelines of like $300,000 or whatever. That's comparing to if I was in my industry super fund and I was paying X amount of fees, maybe 1% per annum, I'm paying $3,000 a year in admin costs. If I have a self-managed super fund, I've got to pay my accountant $3,000 a year, and that's the matching point. But they're not apples for apples. Like you can use for other things. So you can open and you can buy an investment property, you can invest in unlisted assets, assets that aren't on your platform, assets that aren't on any platform. You can do all sorts of things with them. And that's why I say you can open them with as little as $0. And in fact, we did that recently. It was for a client who had some cash outside of super. They were thinking about buying a commercial property for their business to rent back off of them, which is a great strategy for those that need it. And they had $150,000 sitting there. They're going to buy a little office, right? It was just under $400,000, and we could make it happen with that amount. They were actually going to go buy it outside of super, and they sought advice, and this really worked for them. And they thought, should we do it? Should we do this? And I said, well, have you considered a self-managed super fund? Self-employed, I didn't have much super at all. The wife had a little bit, but the husband didn't. He running the business for so long. We were able to set it up, get the money in there, use the money to put down a deposit, a little bit left over in surplus. And this particular client was able to then go, I'm actually going to make contributions going forward. I can actually see now the tax benefits, and I'm really keen on this because I was planning on crunching down the mortgage after I bought the commercial property anyway. So we set up an LRBA, the old custody trust, getting a loan for it, buying the property through the super fund instead of something that wouldn't have worked as well. So I sort of say, there's no minimum. It's just, is it a good idea? It's not a good idea to open up a self-managed super fund to put, say, 20 grand in because you've got some speculative tip on some share market investment or some crypto thing from a mate of yours and you just want to have a go. That's a terrible idea, right? Like, so that's where the things come from. It's not a good idea just to, like, if you don't really care, you've got a couple hundred grand in a super fund and you're invested in a high growth index fund through it, and you just want to do the same thing. Like, what's the point, right? It doesn't match up. It's also not a good idea to just buy any old off the plan property just because you want to get in the property market and use your super to do it. In this particular instance, we've got plenty of examples to show you the same thing. The client, it was an entity